Hi, and welcome into the craft table at Sunny Mile Studio. I'm really excited today to show you this cute card. I found an idea similar to it on Instagram from an artist. Her name is, I wrote it here, the phonetics. It's Virginiakraljevic. I'm probably not saying that quite right, but there's a spelling if you want to look her up. Anyway, she did a similar card to this, and I thought it's very similar to like how I like to doodle and how I like to make art. So I made it more my own with my own doodles that I like to make. So I'm just going to show you how I did that. And I've marked out here a 3.5 by 4.5 section in my sketchbook because that's the size I usually make my cards. And I'm just going to start in the middle, and I'm using this Sakura glaze pen, which I just love. It's got a little bit of gloss to it. It's waterproof. You could also use like a Posca pen or some acrylic marker, anything that's going to be waterproof and that you can paint over. I'm just going to write wishing you a happy day, and I always start with the wording, as you know, if you've been watching my videos, because I usually will have trouble. If I'm going to have trouble, it's going to be with the wording. So let me just get this on here. Sorry, it's hard to talk and write. Wishing you... Oh, it's getting a little blobby. If that happens, I just take it over to my little scrap here and try to get that off. Okay, wishing you a happy day. There. And then I go around it, I just kind of draw a ring. And be careful not to get your hand on the writing because it'll smush or smudge. And then I usually let that dry for a while, because if I'm working up here in this corner, I will end up smudging it and getting black on my hand and all over the page. So I've got one here that I've done, and this is already dry. So we can go ahead and add some doodles. And I was going to tell you, I am using this Meeden watercolor paper today. I'll back out a little so you can see it. Actually, I can press this button here. Whoops. That way. This is 100% cotton cold pressed paper, and I like it for things like this that have a lot of heavy watercolor on it. It really soaks it up well. The thing I don't like this paper for is when I want to come back on top with the Pigma Micron, like when I paint and then doodle on top, because this really scratches up, and the Pigma Micron doesn't work very well at all because this paper is quite rough compared to like the Canson XL or that Art and Fly one that I was using the other day. So anyway, it's similar to Arches, but it's more inexpensive, and I think the Arches watercolor probably stays wet a little bit longer, if I'm remembering right. I haven't used Arches in a while. So anyway, once you get your sentiment on there, then I was just like adding little doodles that I like to make. This is a little house that I make often. Well, what's going on? Now that I'm showing you, this thing is really blobbing. There, that's better. So I'm just putting like a little house. This pen is harder to get the fine details like on this window, but I still like it. And then I'm going to be careful, but I'm going to draw some like puffy clouds coming down, varying the sizes. to give it interest. And maybe one coming down here. And then you're really just filling in with all kinds of doodles, as you can see here. Flowers, butterflies, mushrooms. We'll just go ahead and add a few more. Now that's wet, so I gotta be careful. I'm not gonna go over there because I'm gonna end up smudging it. I'm just drawing some little hearts. We'll give the house some little flowers. Something like this. Let's see, we'll draw another like that. And let's see. I wonder if that's bright enough. Can you see what I'm doing? I'll turn the light on. Maybe that's a little better. It's hard to tell. I don't like the reflection sometimes. And what else? You can add some balloons. Whatever comes to mind. Draw some butterflies. And you could make this seasonal too, you know, and you get to the fall, you could add like acorns and leaves or different things in the winter, snowflakes and snowmen, whatever you like to draw. I like to put a little heart with some leaves at the bottom. I'm super excited. This year I planted some flower seeds from a packet, and I have some zinnias that are almost about to bloom. I'm so excited. I hope nobody picks them. It's in a it's kind of in a public area, but I guess if they pick them, they'll enjoy them as well. But I'm hoping I get to see them open. I'm not quite sure what color they are. They're kind of purpley pink, but they're all like still really tight, closed up at the top. So I'll just show you, sometimes I like to add like a mushroom, give them a little ruffle. And you can make it symmetrical, like what you put on this side, you put on this side, or you can just be completely random. I kind of like a combination of the two. So I'm just adding some little roses. And then when you have blank space, you can go back at the end and kind of add in little hearts or flowers, smaller flowers, whatever fits, just to kind of fill in the space so it looks all filled in like this. And then I will show you, I have one that I've done, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. And this is dried. I would let this dry for probably about 15 minutes, especially with this glaze pen. It does take a while to really get dried before you go over it with any water or watercolor. And then, let's see. I'm gonna put it on that. And I'm using the pink, what's it called? This is obviously my favorite one. You can see it's almost gone, Rose Madder. And this is the Kiritaki, the large set. So what I like to do is just, this is a big brush. This is number 12. I barely ever use this large of a brush. It feels humongous. But I'm just trying to mop a bunch of water on here, and then I'm going to drop in the color, and I think I'm going to go at the top more saturated and then less saturated at the bottom, so it kind of has a ombre effect. So I like how this paper really stays wet for a minute. The Canson, just, it would already be all dry by now. kind of crazy like that, how different papers react. So I'm getting this rose madder. I wonder if you can order, I'll have to look into the getting more rose madder. I might have to buy a different brand or something, but I don't want to buy a whole new set of paints just for a couple that I've, you know, that are almost empty. So going in saturated, and remember it always dries lighter, so you don't have to be too afraid of adding a lot of color at the top. Summertime is going by so fast. I can't believe it. All right, I'm just going to bring this, maybe add a little bit more there, and now just kind of drag that color down. Oops, getting out of the camera here. There. See how it's kind of like a ombre effect there. And now we're just going to set that aside and let that dry. And you could do it with a border, like you could use the washi tape and put that around the edge and give it a border. I kind of like it without the border. If I'm putting it on white cardstock, just it looks nice that way. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this idea and have fun putting your own doodles on it that you like to make. And I'll look forward to painting again with you soon. I hope you enjoy your summertime and stay safe and healthy and have fun. Take care.